Welcome back to Tornabar News, the only place on the internet where we tear the news apart bit by bit until we can foresee every single M. Night Shyamalan plot twist to the point that it's not a plot twist anymore, it's just a real life.
68%, 18%, 8%. There has to be some kind of pattern.
Yeah, down? The pattern is down?
No, it's something to do with the eights.
No! God, please, no! No!
Thank you for being back here. Today it's gonna be the last episode of Tornabar News. I hope you enjoyed this adventure, whether you come from TikTok or whether you are just a fan slash subscriber of my channel. We're gonna be talking about quite a lot of interesting stuff today, and let's start with a new movie directed by M. Night Shyamalan, which is coming out on August 9, and it's called Trap. We have a trailer for it, which is actually filled with spoilers.
You're kind of dope, right?
In fact, even the synopsis of the movie spoils the movie. I was sitting there being like, is this on purpose? As in, is there gonna be another plot twist when you actually end up watching the movie? Or is film marketing so incredibly bad that they have to show you everything, otherwise you will not be hyped for the movie itself? I don't really know, but when it comes to marketing M. Night Shyamalan movies, I feel like most of these trailers tend to give out almost too much of the plot. So this is why I'm gonna give you my first impressions spoiler free, and then if you'd like to know more, I'm actually gonna show you more footage of the film and tell you what it is about. From my perspective, this is actually quite cool. It's taking place in a concert, and apparently according to Shyamalan himself, throughout different interviews, he said that he wants to follow the timeline of a concert as close as possible so that it feels that you're actually there. And this is actually awakening a lot of fears that I have when it comes to concerts and being in a mosh pit specifically. I don't actually go to concerts anymore because I'm kind of afraid of not being able to get out if I get a panic attack or if I just want to get out. I don't know how it works in the States, but here in Europe, if you are in a mosh pit at a concert, you can only get out of it if there is a break or if it's the end of the concert itself, meaning that you're surrounded by thousands of people that you don't know. Everyone is dancing and having a good time, yes, but what if you're suffocating and you want to get out and you can't? It's insane. Just by looking at the footage, it seems like no one is actually standing, and in the mosh pit there are a couple of chairs and everyone is sitting down, so it's not as chaotic as most concerts that I've been at and that I've seen everywhere. The entire concept is quite cool. I think it's definitely gonna be interesting. It's following like a serial killer trying to escape from this concert, and it's called a trap mostly because the police is basically trying to capture this serial killer, and they've blocked all of the different exits of the concert and it's impossible to get out. Now, if you'd like to know exactly what this movie is about, let me tell you, otherwise you can just skip to the next Torn Apart News bit and move on. So the serial killer, who is dubbed the Butcher, joins his daughter at a concert for pop star Lady Raven, but the Butcher realizes that the concert is a trap set by the police to catch him. Of course, plot twist, the main guy and his daughter, he is the serial killer and he's played by Josh Hartnett. I can't even remember the last time I saw Josh Hartnett in a horror film. It must have been probably 30 Days of Night back in 2007, and he looks fantastic. This is the main reaction that people have been having about this movie. It's just the fact that Josh Hartnett looks very sexy and young for his age. I love the concept of this film. I feel like it's really interesting, and one thing you can say for sure about M. Night Shyamalan's movies is that the concept is always very interesting and intriguing. It's the execution that doesn't really follow through until the very end. I guess we'll find out once we get into theaters. Now let's jump into our next piece of news and talk about Quentin Tarantino. Apparently, breaking news, Quentin Tarantino has completely scrapped his idea for his 10th and final movie called The Movie Critic. If I have to be honest, I'm kind of glad, mostly because The Movie Critic seemed to be like a very standard kind of drama. I really didn't see the Tarantino-esque kind of like mood within a film like this. But at the end of the day, people online, on Twitter and stuff like that, have been discussing about the fact that we feel like Quentin Tarantino has kind of put himself against the wall with this idea of wanting to leave Hollywood at the absolute top of his career, and the fact that he said so many years ago that he would end his career with only 10 movies. And I'm pretty sure that he can feel all the pressure coming from the movie fans, coming from the studios themselves as well. And at the end of the day, we just want him to have fun. I feel like Tarantino used to be like one of the most exciting directors in Hollywood, probably in the last 30 or 40 years, mostly because he seemed to be having such a good time making films, and he made them really, really well. And I feel like across the last few films that he's made, he's more worried about his legacy, he's more worried about making films that will be technically perfect, and I can't really see his spark of fun anymore, which you could definitely tell with films like Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Basterds, or even Django Unchained. So at the end of the day, I'm torn between being excited about the fact that the movie Critics is actually not going to be his last film, and the fact that Tarantino himself doesn't really know exactly what he wants out of his filmmaking career. Now let's head into our last piece of news and talk about a series called 100 Years of Solitude. This book here, of which the series is going to be adapted from, it's a book that has been on my to-read list for quite some time, and I think I need to give you a little bit of context on why this is quite an important adaptation, in case you have no idea what it is about. It's a project that is being distributed by Netflix. It's going to have 16 episodes, and it's adapting a book called 100 Years of Solitude, which was written by a Latin American novelist called Gabriel Garcia Marquez, who is from Colombia, and he basically tells the multi-generational story of the Buendia family, whose patriarch, Jose Arcadia Buendia, founded the fictitious town of Macondo. And basically this novel here is often cited as one of the supreme achievements in world literature, and also as one of the most influential novels of all time, and it was written in 1967. It's quite interesting because the author himself revealed that he never wanted to sell the adaptation rights to his book, mostly because he was afraid that Hollywood would turn it into a movie starring white actors using the English language as well, and it would lose basically all sense of roots and what made it feel so special. So that's why he ended up signing on with Netflix, who seemed to be really interesting in making sure that this story is told properly. The entire reason why I wanted to talk about this is mostly because this trailer kind of reminds me of the beautiful magical realism of other Latin American projects that you might remember. A movie that came out last year which is called El Conde, but also Inarritu's most recent film, which is also a film that not that many people talked about back when it came out, and it's Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths. I really love it because magical realism has a lot of emotional power when it comes to connecting audiences to places that they've never been to, never visited, and that they don't know anything about. And now let's head into our bonus news. This is the moment of the week where I try to rapid fire as many news about the movie and TV industry as fast as possible so that you can go back to your lives.
Finally!
Let's start by talking about some release date changes, and this has to do with The Crow, which was set for release on June 7 and it's been moved to August 23rd. And another one, which is even more important, has to do with Saw 11, which was supposed to come out this year on September 27, but it's been moved exactly by 1 year, and it's probably the best for the movie itself because it seemed quite far-fetched that they would be able to release a movie a year after, especially when pre-production didn't even start. We finally have an official poster and trailer for Richard Linklater's new movie called Hitman, which is coming out on June 7th on Netflix. The thing that I really like about this project mostly has to do with Glen Powell's performance. I feel like this concept is really gonna give him quite a lot of work, and it's definitely gonna change his career for the future as well. But if you'd like to know more, the plot follows an undercover Houston police officer who poses as a reliable hitman hitman as he tries to save a woman in need. We also have some other news concerning the Fallout series, which has been officially greenlit for a second season, and I'm really happy for it because the season is incredible. It's honestly even better than the game. We finally have a trailer for Transformers 1, which is coming out on September 20th, and it's directed by Josh Cooley, the director of Toy Story 4. This has made history a little bit for Transformers fan, mostly because it's the first animated feature film that is based on the franchise since 1986, and it's described as an origin story set on the planet Cybertron, which will center the relationship between Optimus Prime and Megatron as slowly they become respective leaders of the Autobots and Decepticons. The thing that intrigues me the most about this project here is the fact that the Transformers are not really able to transform for most of the movie itself, so this is gonna be a weird one. I hope it doesn't take too long for them to get that new skill, mostly because the trailer really becomes interesting once they're able to transform exactly as we see them do in the live action movies. One thing that I don't really like about this project is the fact that since this project is on a Transformers scale, we don't really get that same sense of weight that was added to the live action version, just because we had the humans to compare them to when it comes to their height, how much they weigh, and just how much physical space they occupied on screen. Well, the movements of the Transformers felt very weird. It didn't really make me feel like they were these big huge machines. It made me feel like they were just normal human beings colored and designed and animated as robots, and it just felt a little bit weird. I hope it gets fixed for the final film itself, because otherwise it's just gonna feel like puppets moving around, and that's not what the Transformers is about at the end of the day. But maybe I'm saying this because I know nothing about the animated Transformers, so I'm coming to this issue as someone who has grown up and has only watched live action Transformers. Maybe the animated forms have always been this way. Let me know down in the comments if you are a fan. Now for last time, let's move to my favorite segment of the week, which is called And for Something Weird. This is where I show you something weird that is related to the movie and TV industry news, and this time around I actually have two segments to show you which have nothing to do with each other, but they are both equally as fun. Let's have a look.
Please. Yes, Keanu! You are a national treasure.
When I find you.
Pop quiz, hotshot. There's a bomb on a bus.
Pop quiz, hotshot. It's a classic line.
This first clip might seem weird to you, maybe if you don't know the context, but this has to do with the fact that Keanu Reeves has been officially cast as the voice of Shadow in Sonic 3. The next clip stars Nikola Jokic, who is an NBA player, and it's related to Despicable Me 3. I feel like the marketing team on that movie has been having quite a lot of fun. Let me know if you find it fun as well.
I thought I looked really good that day. I put on this beautiful suit. They said I'm in business.
Like the one you're wearing?
Yes.
Then what happened?
They say I looked like Gru.
Why does that bother you?
It doesn't.
Then why bring it up?
Because they won't leave me alone.
They?
Guys, I'm not your boss.
But anyways, those are all the news that I had for you for this week. I hope you enjoyed this journey that you took with me through the different movie news and TV news of the last few months. And for the last time, I'm Patrick, and this is Torn Apart News.
Back in the 90s, I was in a very famous TV show. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.